Brought to you by DK Audio.
Timekeepers, Ancient Olympics by S.J. King, read by Dion Mason. Chapter 1. Adventure Time. It was the final game of the football tournament, so the crowd didn't mind the hot Mexican sun. They shouted and cheered as the clock counted down the last seconds of the match. Rosa's team was tied 2-2 and the ball was in midfield. "Come on, Rosa," she said to herself. "We can still win." She dodged the girl who was marking her and raised an arm. She was free and onside. Her teammate kicked the ball across the goal mouth straight towards Rosa. Suddenly, the ball stopped in midair and the players were as still as statues. The crowd of spectators was silent. Their flags stopped in mid-wave. There was no bird song, no distant roar of traffic, not a sound. Rosa wasn't worried. She knew exactly what was happening. Instead, she was excited. Rosa belonged to a secret organization called the Timekeepers, who traveled into the past, putting history back on track when it had gone wrong. And an evil villain named Delay was always causing chaos throughout the centuries. Rosa glanced at her wrist. The hands on her special watch were spinning backwards. She was being called to the History Hub, the Timekeepers HQ. Delay must have messed up history again, she thought. Rosa flipped up her watch face to reveal a screen of buttons and pressed the biggest one. She gasped as her feet left the ground amid a whirl of colours. Brilliant white light hid the pitch, the stadium, everything. The next moment, Rosa's football boots touched down and the white light shimmered and disappeared. She was inside a fantastic museum. Its shelves and glass-fronted display cabinets were crammed with historical objects. The History Hub. "Rosa here," she called, then glanced at some of the objects. A young prince's crown from the 14th century, a papyrus scroll from ancient Egypt, and a gold locket containing a piece of paper that was too fragile to unfold. Something rustled. Rosa looked up at a large cuckoo clock on the wall. A little red door opened and a bright-eyed bird looked out. "Cuckoo!" the bird said. "Hi, Tempo," said Rosa. "Am I first to arrive?" "Cuckoo!" the bird replied, bobbing her head. White light flashed and a dark-haired girl appeared. "Yasmin here," she said. Yasmin loved all things technology. "Flash! Kingsley here," sang the next timekeeper. He popped a guitar pick into the little box he kept in his pocket. "Flash!" Sarah arrived, clutching her notebook as usual. A chain around her neck held a little silver pen with a tiny blue gem on the end like a drop of ink. "I was writing a poem," she said. Rosa grinned. Sarah was always full of writing ideas. Then came Hannah with a paintbrush and a blob of red paint on her nose. She was followed by Jackson, who had floury hands and brought the delicious aroma of fresh bread. He loved baking. Luke and Min Jun appeared together. Luke wore a black jacket studded across the back with a row of stars and a matching belt. He twirled. "Like my latest creation?" he asked. "Yeah, I want that jacket," said Kingsley. "Cool belt," said Hannah. "And look at what Min Jun's made," she added. What is it, Min Jun?" "It's a baggage truck for my model airport," he said. "Well, it will be when it's finished." He glanced at Rosa, who was in her football strip. "Good match." "Brilliant," Rosa said. "We've still got a few seconds to go before the whistle." Time stayed still while the timekeepers were away, so she knew she'd be back to finish the match. Right now, she was excited to discover what problem was happening in the past, and who would be having an adventure. The timekeepers gathered around an empty glass display case. A ball of light filled the case, then splintered into white sparks. The sparks cleared to reveal a small red and black jug with a stopper in the top. The neck was long and narrow with a loop-shaped handle, and it was decorated with running figures on one side and two wrestlers on the other. "The pictures seem to tell a story," said Sarah. "A sporty story." Jackson opened the display case and took out the tiny jug. He removed the stopper and sniffed. "It's olive oil," he said. "The painting's in an ancient style," Hannah said thoughtfully. "I think this object must be an ancient Greek flask." "I think you're right," said Rosa. "I've read that athletes used to oil their bodies before playing sport. Afterwards, they scraped off the oil and the dirt and sweat came with it." Delay must be causing trouble in ancient Greece, said Minjun. His eyes sparkled. So who's going back in time today? Tempo cocked her head as if she was thinking. She flew across the room and landed on Rosa's head. Cuckoo! Rosa gasped. It's me, she cried. Her heart pounded and her knees felt wobbly. Lucky you, said Minjun. Don't forget we'll be here if you need help. Tempo circled the room, then swooped down onto Kingsley's shoulder. Woohoo! He cried, grinning at Rosa. I'm coming too. They high-fived. Ancient Greece is going to be quite a change from Nigeria, Kingsley added. And Mexico, said Rosa. She took the little flask from Jackson. This must be important to help us beat Delay, she said, tucking it into her shorts pocket. Though I can't imagine how olive oil will be useful. She and Kingsley stood together and Tempo circled their...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?